Now is the time. It's just 4 minutes to 8. Okay. I want to give the panelists just a minute each and just clear your thoughts by just speaking to the audience. Just 1 minute each. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I don't know where I for day, and I hope you are. If not be you, then lead the way. So I hope you learned something. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. So relationship is something that is very important. As we all know, whether you like it or not, in a way or the other, you will find yourself in one. And I am happy to be here to share what I know, what I have, my experience. So join us and let's win this day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm happy to be here. I can contribute 1 cent, to help us in this journey called relationship. It doesn't really matter how long you married or be in a relationship, you continuously learn. And so today is another day that I will learn from you all, the audience, and you will learn from us here. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'm here to learn as well. I'm not an expert, but at least I can contribute some of my past experiences. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So when a question is posed, each panelist have 5 minutes to speak into the question, and it's not like in an order of sequence. Any of you can start. So the first question is, when you hear the word intimacy, what is the first that comes to mind when you hear the word intimacy? People are talking about it every day. We hear it in our daily life. Intimacy. I want to get intimacy with my other significant. When you hear that word, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Okay, it's a kind of tricky question, but personally, when I hear the word intimacy, what comes to my mind is spiritual intimacy. And that's the intimacy that has to do with my personal walk with God. Because as a single that I am now, I'm at that stage in my life where I am trying to get more and more closer with God, trying to build that fellowship with Him, trying to understand His ways. And sometimes I drift away and, I understand the place of coming back to Him. So every day is more like a renewal to me. So that intimacy is something I do pray for every day, asking God for grace to be much more intimate and much more in fellowship and in tune with the Holy Spirit. So personally, for me, when I hear intimacy, it's more about spiritual, for me at least, at this stage of my life where I am right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, she spoke like 1 minute, 35 seconds. That is awesome. That's awesome. I know you are going to help me with my time. Thank you.
Yeah, to me, intimacy, when I hear the word intimacy, is more of being real, being authentic. It's not about watching Netflix together, which is good too. It's not taking a walk anymore. There's more to intimacy. To me, the intimacy is more of soul-to-soul bonding. Letting loose, to be vulnerable to your significant other. Sharing space without having to worry about, if you will be judged, and being your real self. And even in the Bible, Adam and Eve were naked, but they had no shame because they had spiritual intimacy and emotional intimacy together, that they are not being judged or being ashamed. So I believe that if we can learn from that, open up, to your spouse, it will go a long way, to help to build a relationship.
Thank you. I love powers. They are all within time. Way within time. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. So with intimacy, what comes in mind? I'm speaking as a single boy. So what comes in mind at the initial stage when we talk of intimacy is love. But if I don't love something, I'll not get closer to it. So if I love Apple, anywhere I see Apple, I think like I'll feel like getting closer to Apple, getting the Apple. And you know, with intimacy, I see it as we have stages and intent. We have stages, it's been backed by stages and intent. So let me go back to my adolescent stage. With that time, when we talk of intimacy, I see it as getting closer to my partner. So that is the closeness to my partner. What is the intent at that time? Why am I getting closer to a partner? As, let's say, 20 years boy, what do I need? But then, you know, adolescent stages, we have a lot of things going on within the body. So I think somebody should get closer to me. But with then, I have no intent or I have no purpose. The intent is to satisfy the physical body. But now, the definition of intimacy is changing. It is moving from that physical closeness to dealing with the heart and the mind. So now, with my definition of intimacy, I'm looking at the mind and the heart. What is my heart looking for? What is my mind also looking for? So if I see an apple, what is my mind telling me about the apple? And what is my heart telling me about the apple? Will this apple give me joy? Will this apple give me peace? Will this apple help me grow? Am I allergic to it? So these are some of the things that comes in mind currently when I think of intimacy. And also with the mind. Going for this apple at this time, do I need it this time? Is it good for me? Is it going to help me? So in my current state, that is how I define intimacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Intimacy. I'm married for 29 years.
That's great. That's great.
So next year is going to be
Oh,
intimacy as a woman who's been married for 29 years. Intimacy to me is a continuous, a deep connection between two people. Notice I did not say husband, wife. I said between two people. Why? Because a lot of people are having intimate relationship with somebody outside of their partners. So it's a deep, continuous bond between two people, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. It is something that goes beyond. It transcends I love you. It transcends butterflies in your tummy. No, it's not. It is a place, it is a safe place. Having intimacy with somebody is a place that you're safe. There's no shame, there's no pain. At least it's not supposed to be. Intimacy is what Proverbs says, beauty with no flaws. Proverbs 4:7 said, you're beautiful with no flaws. It is a place that you're free. You're born in a way that another person cannot understand. Intimacy comes to the point that somebody, it goes to the nitty-gritty, like little things, like being bonded with somebody so much that an experience is not complete with that person. It's like going to a restaurant and you're like, oh, I wish this person was here with me. So you experiencing that thing will be like, I wish this person was here so this thing will be complete. It is something that makes you whole. It is something that keeps you centered. It's supposed to be. Intimacy is something you cannot share with more than one person. Think about that. You cannot share with more than one person, except you, that person, and God. It is something that just two people can have, and no other person can touch that place. No matter what, no other person. So you decide the intimate relationship you're going to have. Is it with your mom, with your dad, with your sister, or with your partner? At every point, or with God. Like my sister rightly said, right now, she looks at intimacy as a spiritual thing. So you decide who do you want to have this with? Intimacy is not just TV. It's being able to, sometimes it's as easy as just sitting quiet together. It's not all about, when we hear intimacy is physical. Men
I love you guys, but intimacy is just, sometimes it might just be sitting quietly together. And maybe you don't, when you're married this long, you might not have time to watch TV. And maybe just sit down together. Maybe just lay down before you go to sleep. And it gets to the point that, trust me, your heart beats in sync. If you allow yourself to be vulnerable, it's a place that, there's no fear of anything. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It is a place that you feel so safe with this person. I'm not going to talk about men, we'll get back to that. But that's what intimacy to me is. It's something that, forget love, no. Forget feelings, no. It's something that binds you together. That no matter how many miles that person is, you see something, oh, I'm in Job. You title, I'm in Job. I'm in divine empowerment. I wish you were here. That's what intimacy is. Thank you.
Guys, this are deep. Our panelists have given us a really deep definitions and insight into the word intimacy. Do we have questions? If anyone was here who has questions, I'll come to you, sir. Anyone was here who have questions or who want to give us your own version of or definition of intimacy, you are free to do so. And I think I have the first person here.
Hello, my name is Samuel, and first off, I want to say thank you very much. Learned a lot about the word that I didn't know. But I would like to pick a piece from Mr. Bruce, and you over here, you used the word vulnerability and you used the word safe space. So in a world where everything you say can or will be used against you, even in relationships, how do you know when to be vulnerable?
Thank you. And the question is for all the rest. Any of you can answer that. Thank you.
Yes, I wanted to add when I was saying what intimacy is that intimacy does not come easy for men because a man has to trust the physical and the emotional relationship, connection he has with you. It's so much that he can trust you, to be able to entrust you, for you to be entrusted with his vulnerability because men are macho and African men are super macho. And for us, the ladies, please, if you're lucky enough to build a relationship or to have a man form that bond with you and be able to open his mouth to tell you his deepest, darkest fears and secrets, please, I don't care how mad it makes you, do not touch that. The day you touch that, you have lost him forever. He might not leave you. He will not leave you, but you will never reach that part of him. My brother, there is nothing, there's no formula to you knowing if they will use it against you. But I'm just telling us ladies, if you do it, he will have a wall up. And that is when he will have intimacy with another woman, Christian or not. He will tell the woman everything. He might not sleep with her. He might not do anything with her. But that woman outside will own his intimate details. She will know everything about him. Think about it. He will have what Nigerians call bestie. So if you ever, when you break that trust, there is no coming back. And when you're lucky enough to have a man open up to you, we're not talking women. Women, we can say everything, everything. When you're lucky enough for a man to want to open up to you, please count yourself. Keep that secret. I don't care if anything happens. I don't care if you part ways. Because if you had kids or something together, something has to count for something. See, that's the problem. Why men do not open up. Intimacy does not come easy for men. It does not. It does not. I have a son, and he's 27. And it took him a while. I had 3 kids in 3 years. Sorry. And when the 2 sisters came, he didn't find it funny. He shot them. And later he came up to me and said, Mom, we had Miracle came, and then Esther came, and then Miracle came, and he didn't pay attention to me no more. Guess what I did from that day? Every day. He comes to my room. You know how boy children are with the mom? And I give him a hug. I said, I need a proper hug. And every day, twice a day or more, if he passes me in the hallway, I give him a hug. I'm addressing that emotional part of him. And guess what? He started opening up to me, telling me how he used to want to get his sister because they took his place. That's how he managed. That same 2-year-old child, before he was 3, he had 2 siblings. I addressed that. So that's what I can say. There's nothing you can do but just keep your guard. So ladies, please, let's learn something.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So please, what's your name? Sammy. Oh, Sammy. So it's okay to be vulnerable, but from my experience, it's not just about everybody. It should be someone that is a significant other, somebody that you can trust. Intimacy and vulnerability goes together. You can intimately be with someone without being vulnerable. So most often, men will try to, tighten up. It's just territory and it's natural like that. But it's okay to be vulnerable. But it should be with someone that you 100%, got your back. And it's okay to be vulnerable. And if it's the right person, you will get the best. Because the moment that you open up, chances your spouse will open up to you too. And love grows. You'll be amazed, when you open up to somebody. So most people mistake vulnerability to be weakness. No, it's pretty much another strong guardrails, if you may, to relationship. That's what I say.
All right. Any more questions, contributions, Adam?
So I have a contribution. When I was much younger, and when I first, I guess my teenage or I'm not going to say my age, but I thought intimacy was all about sex. And I know for sure that's what most young folks think about. But to me, I feel like it's part of it, and I will elaborate it as being, if you think intimacy is just sex, then you're literally riding a car on one wheel. But intimacy to me has 4 wheels, which I wrote down: emotional closeness, spiritual connection, intellectual understanding, and trust. With 1 wheel, you can't go that far. With 4 wheels, you can go places. So to me, intimacy has those 4 wheels, but not just the sex that for me, when I was younger, I thought it was.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, more questions, more contributions? You show by hand and I'll come to you.
I think I want to add up to what Madam Rosemary just said. So, being a young guy, with what she said, young guys, when growing, we try to be we are a bit stubborn, a bit stubborn as in, mingling with ladies and stuff. With that time, what we want, or what the body wants, is the sex aspect of it. But after getting the sex aspect of it, we have ladies that you can never share anything with. You never share. We have ladies that you only meet her when you are ready for sex. And right after sex, it's like, hey, come on, get off the bed and go. And we have ladies that you don't even have sex with, but you feel at home when you meet those ladies. So any man who is growing, or any young guy who is of age to marry, we have ladies that are set apart for marriage. And we have ladies that are there for our normal sexual enjoyment. So before a man takes a lady, we look at the maturity, having peace or finding peace in that lady. Is this a lady that I can find peace in, irrespective of what I say? Is she having my interest at heart? So that is the peace that we want. Most of the times it's like the youth, we are like sex. Yet we have people that we have had sex with, but they are never marriage materials for us. So that is a bit that I want to share.
Thank you. That's really deep. That's really deep. Any more questions, contributions, add-ons?
Thank you. I think I have a question. Okay, so what do you do if, as a man, you think you've been vulnerable and everything, but still you don't see the intimacy, you don't see response from the other side? Because what we are talking about is between 2 people. So from day one, I've been very open for as long as the relationship has existed. But I can see from the other side that the other side is not responding. At that point, I think I've laid out almost everything about me. but I'm not receiving the intimacy. The other side is not coming in. What do I do, please?
Thank you, sir. Like, it's been one way.
Red flag, major red. You see, this is something I always say. When people get married and they have problems and they tell me about the problems, the first thing I ask, did you not see any of this while you were courting or dating? And they're like, well, you know, this major red flag. Maybe she's not that into you. You know that movie? Maybe she's not that into you because a woman who meets a man that loves her and she loves him will be glad, will be ready to share. Or maybe she's had experiences that you're going to be collateral damage to. And so when you see red flags like that, please, something in your heart is telling you there's something wrong here. What I always ask you is, are you willing to live the next 5, 10 years this way? So if you're calling and you see that, are you willing to live a lifetime like that? It's a red flag. And just treat it like a red flag. And watch the person and see what happens. There's no two ways. You can't force intimacy. You cannot. Intimacy for men always, let's get to this place. For men always, most of the time must have happy endings. You must have happy endings, yes. And I always tell, the girls in my circle who are newly married, I said, listen, get that man. I said, come, you know how they tell us in Africa that the way to a man's heart is food, is not. Somebody, no matter how good a cook you are, somebody can cook better than you. I don't care what you say, I'm a good cook, but I know there's somebody somewhere who cooks better than me. And I tell the women around, the young ladies around me, listen, you just married. The best thing you can offer that man is give him a lot of care, attention, dress sexy, catch him, call him, text him, give him a lot of sex. Flood his mind that he cannot think straight. Trust me. Flood his mind that he can, when a man walks through the door and you're there to give him the attention and the care and flood his mind with sex and good food. Good food comes last. Trust me, that man will not be able to think straight. When he's about to go to work, he said, honey, do you have a minute for some? Yeah, our parents, they don't tell us this. Especially us, the Christian girls, or Muslim, or whatever religion, they do not. We are so pious, we are so righteous. Yes, we are saved by the blood of Jesus, we are sanctified. But this is marriage, and somebody has needs. And women are not as needy as men, trust me. Men are needy. They're like 2-year-olds. They don't get sex, you get tantrums. The married women know what I'm talking about. They don't get sex, you get tantrums. They start shouting at every little thing. They see fault in every little thing. Why is this shoe here? It's not about the shoe. You didn't get some. My brother is laughing. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. And then when he's nagging at you, maybe blow up, I'm tired. And the next thing is, he will just lock up. He will not talk to you that much. Yes, that. And you're wondering, what is wrong? You're running around, you're trying. Just give him that. Give him care. Give him attention. Make him, when he walks past, when you do this thing, you're not going to walk past that man. He's going to be squeezing every part of you when you walk past. He's going to be so focused on you. If you think that intimacy, the part of intimacy that men pay attention is the physical and the emotional. If those two, if that is absent in your marriage or relationship, he's definitely getting it somewhere else. Christian or no Christian, please don't spiritualize sex. No, do not spiritualize sex. Do not spiritualize that physical intimacy. Let him be able to touch you whenever he wants to touch you. Let him be able to, sorry, I'm not saying I don't say no to my husband. I do. That is my weapon of getting his attention. But don't make it a habit of going 2-3 days and all that. No. You just said, I think you didn't do well by me today. Be open. When you have intimacy with your partner, you can tell them exactly what you want, and they can tell you exactly what they want. And if a man gets what he wants, trust me, as a happy man, you'll be humming and singing songs that you never know.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yes, somebody.
So I have a follow-up question on my brother's question. So in case you are dealing with that person that has a melancholic family, right? You know, those people, they don't open up easily. So is this still a red flag? Because this is who I am, right? And that's my personality. So it takes time for me to open up. So how do you deal with that personality as well, if you have that kind of personality as a spouse?
Well, I believe we're all Christians, and what we're talking about is a Christian-based relationship. So if you find yourself in a situation like the young man said earlier, where you feel like your spouse reciprocating, advances, if you may, that you're making, I believe it's something that you can talk about, pray about, especially if you're Christians and you believe in God, believe in the same faith. So I don't see any problem, talking over what the problem is. Like you rightly said, some people are very hard to communicate in a way. And it's not like it's just like, that's their own nature. You have to do more than just be yourself, to get them to open up. So it goes a long way with patience, perseverance, don't give up. Talk to her, communicate, and eventually, if someone that is your significant other, she's not going anywhere. So it could be that you need to do a little bit more, to get to, open up where you're, to understand one another. Then whatever that it is that you desire, definitely will come to be.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah, so I did also want to emphasize on something that our first day, where we were talking about if the individual doesn't open up, sometimes there is trauma in the back of it that sometimes encourages these things to happen. And I think the biggest thing that we do when we start interacting with people is to see, we only focus on the bright sides, on the fun things that we want to do with the individual, but we don't do a clear analysis on the individual themselves and what their background is and what they are bringing onto the table. So I think one of the things that we started, this whole, what is in your suitcase, the originating part of it, rooted from trying to understand self, trying to understand the individual that you are being with, or whoever you are trying to engage with, and understanding who they are. Because sometimes I always tell my wife, when I met my wife, I'm a guy. She grew up in Kumasi, two different places. I had everything, I don't know what her background is, but all I know is everything else that she went through shaped her to become who she is. And I am very vocal because I grew up at the shore. It is natural of me to just shout. That's how we communicate. So when I came to marriage and she wasn't talking, I felt exactly what my brother was feeling. I felt she wasn't opening up enough. She was very, to herself. Every time I tried to break out of communication, she would fold up. And like we said, a man will also fold backward. So instead of opening up, me being, an immature self at the time, folded back. Hence the, divine empowerment at the end of it, because at some point we had to come to a realization that we needed to do something about this, issue, and we resulted in that. But what I wanted to emphasize is really take your time, meet the person, ask about the person's background, where you at, where you come from, what has happened to you that I need to know. We mentioned them as red flags, but red flags are not easily identified, especially when butterflies have taken me over. I saw the beauty and I'm a man, so I'm going to go that way. When I see that little Coca-Cola thing going around, I don't think about anything else. All I see is that. So sometimes it does it clouds our judgment when it comes to learning about things like that. So if you are still in the process of identifying the individual and you have room to adjust, take the time, learn the person, and then if and when you feel comfortable, then be vulnerable with the person, because you can't just be vulnerable without understanding the roots of why the person behaves the way she behaves or they
you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Last 36 minutes, you guys has been wonderful. You spoke deeply into the word intimacy. We are learning. We are learning. Guys, please, there's nothing like wrong question or right question. You are asking because you do not understand it. Don't think like, why will I say this? Because somebody might think like I'm dumb or maybe I don't learn. Please don't feel that way. It is your question. Own up to it. Ask. Or if you have anything to contribute to the topic or to the question, please feel free. Say it. There's nothing. This is a safe space here. Okay? Feel free. Ask your questions. Add on to your contributions. And let's make this gathering here a very lovely one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have about 3 minutes on this topic. So if anybody wants to ask more questions, please. Yes.
I want to add a thing or two to identifying red flags and all that. And I maybe one thing I can say is when people get new into relationships, we only stick to the butterflies and la-di-das of it, but we refuse to ask the hard questions. So when you get deep with the person and you see all those things, you like, why didn't I take note of this? Why is this a red flag? But then when, just as he said, you saw the Coca-Cola shit, you're like, okay, this is my person. But then you didn't know, okay, is this person clean? There are some deeper questions in relationships that we gotta ask at the beginning that I feel that we should take note of it. Thank you.
Please, let's give it up. All right. Brother Sam, thank you so much. Thank you. Please, anyone? Come, okay.
I just wanted to ask expansion on like the intimacy of God because I know like we're all for majority are Christians, and when the question was asked to the first panelist, her response really, yeah, yeah. But can you expand on your intimacy with God? Because I feel like I'm on that journey as well, but I like I should try that a little bit more.
Thank you. Thank you. She wants to dive a little bit deeper into the spiritual aspect of relationship. And it's not, please, the question is not only just directed to our sister, it's directed to all the four of you. Thank you.
Okay, so when I say spiritual intimacy, it's more of me allowing God into my life, into my space. It's more about me making God my number one in my life. So over the years, my spiritual life has been like a roller coaster. So, and I've been trusting God to be stable. They say these things like have a consistent time where you're praying at night, you must pray at night, you must fast. I haven't been fasting and things like that. And spending time to pray for hours. And because of this, I've joined like some prayer. I'm part of a prayer community. So it has really, really strengthened my prayer life. I feel like I cannot really do anything, in my life if I don't pray, if I don't ask God for direction. So all of this is coming from a point in my life where I was really confused about purpose, confused about so many things. So many things was just wrong. And then I know that God wanted me to be closer to Him so that He can give me that needed direction. A lot of people are just living life anyhow, but as soon as I realized the purpose of God for my life and the calling of God for my life, realizing the purpose of God for my life it was another ball game entirely because I was so confused while I was growing up. I'm like, okay, God, what would you have me do? And sometimes it's like God is not speaking. Trying to pray the more, and I'm not getting anything. God answers in different ways. He sent people to me and also, confirmed it. But that was more like prayer. I had to pray, I had to study God's word, I had to understand on my own. So walking with God has to be like a deliberate thing. You have to be intentional with your work with God. The Holy Spirit wants to spend a lot of time. He wants to speak to us. God talks. God speaks, but you have to be willing to let yourself loose. You have to allow you have to bring God into your space. You know, God is there, he's watching, but he wants you to call upon him. And a lot of times it's not as if God doesn't know what we are going through, but he wants us to speak to him about it. So many confusions that was going on in my life. Now I have better understandings. If you ask me where I see myself in the next 5-10 years, I have that clarity. So my spiritual intimacy is more about me having that clarity, that fellowship that brings clarity, in my purpose, especially my purpose. Because if we don't know our purpose in this life, man, I don't know, maybe to say it's a terrible thing, but at some point in my life, personally, I was just tired of life, tired of everything, and I needed that clarity. The only way I could get clarity was God calling me to himself, to be intentional, so that I will be able to have that clarity and know where I'm headed to, know, things that nobody else knows, see things, visions in dreams and things like that. So my spiritual life, takes precedence over so many other things in my life, because I believe God is my number one. On a daily basis, we just need God. We just need God. So every day I keep praying that God, please just show me mercy. Do not ever leave me alone. I need your guidance. I need you. I need the Holy Spirit in my life to direct me, to order my steps, to lead me in the way that I should go. And also I should be able to hear when he speaks, that still small voice, that spirit of discernment. That's what has really helped me to where I am today. So I have that much needed clarity in my life. So.
Thank you. Please. And one of the things that she said that really got my attention is make God number one. All right. So we are moving on to the next question. Dear panelists, people make expressions a lot. And one of the ways people make expressions is emotions. So the question is, who in your life do you feel most emotionally close to, and why? Who in your life do you feel most emotionally close to, and why? It can start from any one of you. And so please, if you are ready, you can take it.
Okay. First of all, I'm not married. Also, I would have said my mom, but she worries too much. As an African mother, she can worry for the whole of Africa. So I'd rather not tell her so many things, just so that not to get her blood pressure up. And I live alone. So the one person whom I feel, emotional to, that would be a close friend of mine. I haven't even seen her before. Maybe because we bear the same name. I think that's what attracted us, our friendship. We met on a prayer community group on WhatsApp. And she reached out and I got to know that, okay, we're namesake. We just clicked. We started, bonding and talking about life. She's also single, and we just connected. So I noticed that she's in the fashion tech space, and she's big on personal development, achieve your goals and things like that. And I'm also huge on that, personal development. I travel for conferences and things like that, just to develop myself. So that's what really got us talking. Also our past relationships. The reason would be that, or why we're that close, why I would call her my, one I can really open up to emotionally and all of that, is because she looks after my well-being. She cheers me up. Even before coming for this program, she had already received so many messages from her cheering me up. So she's been more like a cheerleader. Sometimes, yeah, I'm kind of vulnerable to her. I tell her things I'm going through. We pray together. So that was my number one, actually, prayer. Yeah, so we pray together. She's, imagine waking up to seeing messages like, "Go girl, you can do this. Don't be scared, don't let loose. You're bigger than this. God is on your side." Those affirmations are what I need at this present stage in my life. Because I've expressed to her so many times that I'm afraid. God has deposited so much in me, but I'm scared to launch out. I'm scared to do what He has called me to do. I'm scared of so many things, and sometimes I just don't know why. And the years are going by, and I'm like, okay, God, please help me, please help me. So she has been a source of encouragement, great encouragement, a source of strength. And I believe we all need that kind of, at least someone like that in our lives that would always come through for us with, encouragement, strength when we're at our weakest. So I've had my down moments, and she's always been there to encourage me to. She has that high spirit. Not that she's not going through not that she's not going through her own stuff, but she's always there as a source of encouragement and strength to me, and I also in turn reciprocate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so with me, it is my mom. And it has been my mom from day one. And the reason why I am very emotionally attached to my mom is I see her as someone who has my interest at heart. So first of all, I trust her as the only person who I can confide in. When growing up, I am very open type, and I have been disappointed by friends and stuff a whole lot. So I would say, in a way, I test people before I develop trust for them. And my mom has been tested on several grounds. Even though she's my mom, I have tested her on several grounds. And I see that she's the only one who is that faithful for me to confide in. If my mom is here and I like disturbing her, to the extent that she even tells me, "Hey, move out of the house, go and make friends, go out." Why do I disturb her? Because I want to see what she can do. And I want her to also see what I can do. So if you say Kofi, if you go to my mom and you ask of Kofi, my mom will tell you, Kofi, meaning I am very troublesome. But she knows that there are some things that when you say Kofi did this, she can define, she can stand by me and say, "No, my son will never do this." So confining is like she has helped me get into this stage in life. Because I remember when I was growing up academically, P1, I wasn't that good academically. I used to get 0 at Koti and those stuff. And like, my mom would be like, "I know you had 0, but take this gift." She always buys me a gift, even after getting 0. And my dad would be like, "You get 0, you will end up selling more money." So my dad is like, he always brings down the spirit in me. But my mom lifts that spirit in me, that I can do spirit. You are capable of doing. And also one thing that I love about my mom is spiritually, she helps me get closer to God. Like morning devotion, fasting. Even here in America, today I prepared some fufu. And my mom was like, "Today is Friday, why are you eating? You have to fast." And I'm like, "Oh no, I feel like taking fufu today." She helps me get closer to God. So even in life, in choosing a partner, I am beginning to think that, hey,
I have to get someone who will help me get closer to God. Because the thing is, if you don't help me get closer to God, you may not see the good aspect of me. You will see the bad aspect of me. And if I love God, I will love you better off. So it's like my mom has brought me up to that level that anytime I'm doing something bad against my mom, I feel it that I'm doing it against myself. Even if I'm lying to my mom, I feel it like I'm doing something bad to me, to myself. So I have trust for my mom. I find peace in her. Like she draws me closer to God, and she sees ahead of me. My mom sees ahead of me. Anytime I'm taking a decision and I tell her, she's like, no, when you take this decision, you will end up in the wrong way. Take this other decision. And that is what I'm expecting for my future wife. Like, don't think now, see the future. Like, if I'm making a decision, you should see it from far, the result of the future, so you can direct me and put me on the right path. Thank you. Thank you.
The young ladies, you know how, the single ladies in the house, you know how to get close to this gentleman. All right, please go on. Please go on.
That's the mama's boy. Transfer all that love to your wife. This person, the person that I'm emotionally attached to is my husband. My husband is my best friend. He is the person I can tell anything to. He's like when I was coming, he praying over me while I'm trying to dress up. He's following me around and praying over me. He's my cheerleader. He's my everything aside God. When I met my husband, he was not born again. I was born again. And I said, no way, this path can cross. And eventually, I told God, God actually revealed to me that he was my husband. And I said, God, you cannot be a liar. We cannot be unequally yoked. We cannot be unequally yoked. And I walked away. And about a month or 2 or 3 later, he came to my brother's house. I was speaking in tongues. He couldn't talk. He basically spoke in tongues for 1 week after I gave his life to Christ. So he's been the priest of my home. He's been our rock. I remember the day I was getting married. You know how people say they have maybe little second thoughts, oh, I'm getting married, I hope nothing changes. I did not have any. I woke up and I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to have done that day. It was like I did the normal thing, no second thought. Like he said, his mom, my mom, we got married in Nigeria, and my mom said, oh, and my visa was ready in less than 30 days, and my mom said, oh, I hope it doesn't change. When you get there when there's nobody. And I said, no, Mom, it's not going to change. I said, how do you know? I said, Mom, because I just know. And we have been best of friends. Our children don't mess with us. They said, don't even mess with them because they're going to turn against you. He said, did you just tell Dad? Dad is going to tell Mom. So we are a team. And I thank God that we are a team with God too. And our children can see that. It's not that we don't have faults. We do. But if I have to do it all over again, I will gladly, without blinking, do it with him. And that's how he felt.
he was doing something when I was coming, and he kept texting me when I get here. How long will it last? Can I come? I said, just rest, okay? I'll be fine. But my husband is my best friend, and all emotional, like I can't even, everything is surrounded, you know. Aside God is my husband. And my kids know that. I'll be like, oh, they say, where is your dad? They say, oh, you're looking for your husband? He's down there. Oh, you're looking for your wife? He's up there. And I said, what's your problem? Do you have one? That's my husband. You don't have a husband. So, I mean, he is, I thank God that I met him.
Thank God that you love him. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so, of course, my emotional bond is, of course, my wife, not because she's in the audience. And of course, I don't need a ride back home. If I were so hard. But emotional intimacy doesn't come overnight. We've known each other since donkey years, and over time we build that trust. Over time we build that understanding. It comes with time. And she's the only one that I feel that I can open up to and trust, can communicate and discuss just about anything. Because there's no shame, there's nothing to worry about. And I can unequivocally say that she's the one that I have emotional connection, because of what we have been through, and through the years, the relationship that I have with her. So she is my quarterback, and she is there, for my best interest, and vice versa. So, and I believe that's the way that it's supposed to be. The lesson, to the singles out there that I might, chip in, like I said, I'm not an expert, to be tomorrow, if you decide you will marry somebody, you want to, ask if that person, could share, your weaknesses, take you for your weaknesses, not from your space of strength. If the answer is no, it will be very hard, to have some kind of emotional bond, with the person. It's from experience that I'm speaking. So, marriage, if you ask me, it's not a perfect journey. It's, no matter, how long you've been married, there's always something to run. But you can save yourself a lot of headache by asking so many questions, while you're still dating. Because some of the mistakes, could be avoided, if you speak out, try to know your partner before jumping into marriage. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, let's give it to our panelists. Yes, so our panelists have said a lot with us. They started with the best friend, to the spouse, to the almighty mama, and back to the spouse. Please, if you, like we did to the first question, we are going to do same to the second question here. And before I come to you, sister, there's a question here.
Thank you. So I have a question for Mr. Francis. So, since you are single and we have some single ladies in here, as a mama's boy, do you think when you get married, are you going to detach yourself from your mom? or it's still going to be the same?
Okay, that is a very good question. Yeah, you want to know, that is a very good question. We are talking about intimacy. Currently, she is the one that I trust. That is why I am very attached to her. And I have made her know. That is why I am not always clear with her. Sometimes we do fight on phone. I'm like, she says this, and I'm like, no, I'm not taking this. I'm taking that. I am doing that I'm doing that for her to know that I also have my way. And I can also make my decision. So there are some decisions that when she says, I'm like, no, I'm not taking it. I have to do it this way. So I have created an environment that she knows I am a bit difficult. And not everything of her that I take or I use. So when I marry, it is a different thing altogether. I believe the Bible even tells us that and two will become one. Marriage is a new journey that I will be embarking on with my partner. First of all, to my future partner.
Single ladies, listen!
First of all, to my future partner, I'm going to put her to test on several grounds. Because I have to develop that trust in her. Before, even before I say I do to her, I have to develop that trust in her. Whether I know I am going with her, and she's also going with me. My mom will not live forever, so I have to, go with my partner. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So ladies, he says, don't be scared. When you come into the picture, there will be a substitution.
Okay, so I have a question. My first question, I think she asked that question. That was my first question about if you'll be able to detach, and then but you answered that. But the second question is, I think for a couple, they kept saying, my wife, my husband. So if you are married, does it have to necessarily be your spouse? If yes, why? If no, why?
Does it have to be your husband or your wife?
Being emotional connection, emotional intimacy, of course, is not necessarily has to be your spouse. It could be your mother, it could be your dad, it could be a friend. But for me, there's no other person that I will let be in that close space. Even when my mom was alive, I love her so much, and I'm in love with her too. But even at that, the Bible says, a man will leave the parents are due to the wife. So it's only natural that I have that emotional bond, with her, because that not only that is natural, it helps to grow the relationship. So to me, it's so natural, and for so long that we've been together, like I said, I can start a statement that she finishes. So and it's natural that I share that point with her.
Thank you. The reason why I was asking.
Yeah, so what I want to add is, it is a journey of two people. It is something that does not rely on only one partner. For the benefit of the bond and for the benefit of the children, the descendant that you are producing, I would say intimacy is something that we work on. We work on. So I would advise the two partners to work on that. Make sure your partner becomes your number one person for intimacy. Why am I saying that? Because if you don't trust your partner, there will be chaos in the house. There will be confusion in the house. And when that happens, it shouldn't be always mother, it shouldn't be always father, it should be your wife. And even when the family sees it, marriage is something. Sometimes the family of your partner may not even be in agreement. But you have found love and you know that you are going this way. So if you don't grow it in that manner, the family in a way can even take advantage of the relationship. And that is what most of the times leads to divorce. Because when you don't close that gap, when you, the man, or you, the wife, don't become a shell for that bond, it becomes open. And anybody can just come in, say anything. And because that love or that intimacy is not within, it will even be a burden on the two of you. And it's going to end up collapsing the relationship.
When you say emotional relationship, if it exists outside him being single, outside the marriage, that marriage will never stand. Or both of you will live in misery. It is absolutely, it's not even something you ask people. We see a lot of people now on social media saying, your wife is not your family. Think about that. Somebody gets there and says, your wife is not your family. How about your mother? Is she your family? Do you see where this is going? And if you have emotional attachment, say for a woman, we're emotional being with another man outside your husband. How does it even sound? It's inconceivable. I always say when you get married, a woman, you are a buffer for your husband, and the man is a buffer for the wife. If you're not a buffer for your husband or your wife, that marriage is going to be so many problems. Just like you said, the families will know. Yes, they know when you're not buffering your wife, and they know when you're not buffering your husband. The worst thing a woman can do is to sell out her husband to her family. Unless he's hitting you. I always have a deal breaker. Unless he's hitting you, sell him out quickly so you don't die. But if things are happening and you sell your husband out, trust me, everybody will disrespect your husband. And if you don't buffer your wife, my family knows my husband is a no-go area. My husband's family knows his wife is a no-go area. His friends know his wife is a no-go area. My friends know my husband is a no-go area. That is where my emotion stays. I tell somebody, my husband's family did something, a wife of his younger brother, and I said, you don't ever in your life try that. Nobody can say anything to my husband. I'm the only one who has the right to say anything to my husband. So if you don't build like that, trust me, everybody around you will know. And you will suffer, man or woman. Before we used to think divorces affected just the women, and now we can see it's not true. Men suffer too. So if you sell that wife out, you're gone. If you sell that husband out, you are gone too. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes.
I have a little addition, and maybe this may be for the single people or people that are yet to enter marriage. I see emotional closeness not to be something fast. It's not automatic. It takes time. And that's why most people that are married, they always choose their spouse, because it takes time to build that relationship. Let's see it as a house. Take emotional closeness as a house. We have the foundation of a house. The foundation is what makes the house stay strong, which is trust. So emotional closeness foundation is trust. The second is the walls of a house. The walls of your emotional closeness is communication. Okay? Then we have the roof of the house. The roof of the house is love. Now we're going to have the maintenance. When you have a house, you're going to maintain it, right? In order for it to look good all the time. So a relationship or emotional closeness, that is forgiveness. I'm going to wrong you all the time. You're going to wrong me all the time. As Christians, we're going to find a way to forgive. So therefore, as we keep repairing, when the rain of life, when all these unforeseen risks comes through, we're able to sustain. So for the single people, I feel like if you have these 4 things, you are able to build a strong emotional closeness to whoever you consider as your emotional connected person.
Yes. More questions. We have a few minutes to this question. More questions? Yes.
So if I understand what we're all driving at, eventually your spouse is supposed to be the number one. So my question is, the intimacy, we have the physical aspect, we have the emotional, we have the spiritual. So could you have where you are spiritually connected to somebody more than your spouse, but emotionally and physically it is your spouse?
Okay, so the question is, though we're dealing with emotions here, but she's asking that apart from the emotional expression, is it possible or is it done that you can have, apart from the emotional feelings, maybe you can have spiritual connection with your other significant, but not specifically emotions?
Spiritual connection. You see, that's where when we begin to bring people into our inner circle, that's where problems start. When we begin to have special pastors that pray with us, and special brothers that pray with us, and special sisters and brothers pray with us, that is where the problems start. You need spirituality, please meet your partner. Because that's where, I'm not going to have, look, I've been married for as long as I've told you, but I'm not going to have my husband pray with his sister. No, you cannot. Why am I sitting and opening my door for trouble to enter? No, you cannot. And my husband cannot try to be like, no. No. If you want prayer, you go to my wife, she'll pray with you. And when that sister starts to pray with that brother, please, let's us, it's common sense. It doesn't make sense. How can you carry fish and go and give a cat to keep for you? That's the only person.
They will chill now.
Or carry yam to go and give a goat to keep for you. That's just how I can put my own.
So I have a question for you. When you were saying that you would not allow a sister to pray with your husband, I know that might be personal, but what intentions do you have? Because maybe there is nothing between them. It's just like they pray, and that is it. Me praying with a brother doesn't mean I'm
Let me stop you right there before you finish. If you need a word of prayer and you go to my husband, let's just hold hands and agree. And they hold hands and agree. Fine. Don't make it a habit. If you hold hands, you're a Christian, you can hold hands and agree. Yes, don't make it a habit. You cannot make it happen. Why is the woman telling you about her problems? Are you a counselor? Are you she?
Maybe I give more, I mean, good
No,
advice
I'm
than the
sorry.
wife, so.
You should never, listen, you should never, as a man, you should never allow another woman into that space. That is your wife's space.
So what about if the other spouse don't like praying, but you have found somebody that will pray with you? That is
Find same sex. Find same sex. The problem we create in churches is a lot.
I mean, with same sex, are you trying to say? Because I'm trying to make, I mean, I have been married for a long time. So I know what you're talking about. But what I'm saying is, find a same sex. I mean, what can that sister do that is same sex with?
My dear, if you've been married for a long time and you keep doing that, you're going to run into the one that you say you wish you did.
Oh no! I mean, for me, I think that it all depends on the intentions that you have.
See, the intentions you have might be pure. The intentions your husband had might be pure. Do you know the other person's intention?
Yes. Before you can. No. So that's what I'm saying. Before I can be close or share any type of intimacy or emotional stuff with anybody, I will have to make sure that I have given you the space. I have known you enough to build that. So I cannot just say, oh, okay, I don't know this person. And
my sister, you know how Paul says, no man after the flesh. Mm-hmm. My grandmother used to say, you only know what somebody is doing today. Meaning people always have hidden agenda. The marriage is something, to me, my marriage is something very precious. And God knows I love people, I love for my husband to pray, to walk in his vineyard, to do things in the house of God. But there are things that are just deal breakers. I don't want that prayer point. I'm not going to pray, so I'm going to stop it right before it starts.
So I guess your husband can never be a pastor then? Because
honey,
a sister can call you in the middle of the night.
If I married a pastor, I would know I married a pastor. And my sister, if you dig into pastors' wives are one of the saddest people around.
I mean, maybe there might be somebody that wants to get married to a pastor. And you are telling them,
yes,
oh, okay.
I know. If I married a pastor, I would know that I married a pastor. And I would sit back and I know that this is what I signed up for. Do you understand what I'm saying? I will know that this is what I signed up for. And a lot of pastors are not even drawing the line. They're not drawing the line. They're letting things really happen in church. A lot of things are happening in church, worse than outside. Unthinkable things are happening in church. You see, you know where it starts? The pray with me thing. That's exactly where it starts. The lot of
Okay, so I would like to add something here, since I'm not the one to actually go into the spiritual side when it comes to things of this nature, right? But the foundation of marriage, or biblically to start off with, is man is supposed to be your head and God, right? And the institution of marriage goes between the husband, the wife, and God. There is no pastors involved. We've created that today in our society where we've introduced the third parties into our family. So my advice is, do not bring the third party into it. And I stand with my mom to say, if I need prayers, it's between me and the wife. And if we need prayers, we take our relationship and our problems and our prayers need to the pastor, or we take it to God, but through the pastor. That way, it is not me going to a pastor who, being advised a certain way, or she going to a pastor, or having a spiritual father or a spiritual brother, or whatever we categorize in there. And that becomes the problem, like you said. So most of the time,
we should encourage the husband and the wife. And my wife will tell you, I don't fight with God. I mean, I don't have a beef with him. Him and I are cool. We talk very closely. So I can approach God the way I need to approach God without needing a pastor. Same thing to, well, she prays more than I do. But anyway, she still does that anyway because we believe that you can have your own encounter with God without the need of a third person coming into you.
Can I give any other?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
So, personally, I have worked with men of God for, I was made an elder at the age of 19 years. So I've worked with men of God for a number of years. But trust me, in my marriage, I will tell my wife plain that, hey, if something happened, the moment you tell pastor or you go to pastor's house to inform pastor, just stay there. Don't come back to me. Because it is between the two of us. Let's come together. Even when pastor comes in and our heart is not settled, we cannot live in the same house until the two of us become settled. That is when we can live. And in fact, a lot is going on. So let's know our partner. That's why it's good for you to know your partner very well before you even say I do. One, the spiritual aspect of your partner, you must consider that. Someone who knows how to pray. Someone, when he finds himself in a problem, who does he talk to? He should be someone well like he knows who God is and have a covenant with God. Though such people may like talk in a way, but they know they are God and they can commit to their God, unlike going to a pastor. Because maybe when you tell your pastor, there can be a board meeting and your marriage will become the topic. By the time you realize, your marriage keeps going, and it will get to other places. So let's make note of that.
All right, so my sister over there, this is a real life example. I have a friend that I work with, and before she got married, she's an older lady, she's 65 years right now. Before she got married, she had a prayer sister. Best friend since nursing school in Ghana. She was a nurse in Ghana for 19 years. Best friends. She got married, her friend got married. Then the friend's husband died, but she was her prayer sister since they were infants. Now, husband died. Her husband, and best friend are prayer group, 3 of them, okay? She started working night shift. So that's her sister. Comes to the house all the time, come in and out, everybody knows. Guess what? After a while, she working night shift. The husband and her got into a relationship. She had no idea because they were like family. It was her landlord that told her, do you trust this your friend? So one day, she went to work and had a stomach bug, came home and found her best friend and her husband. So therefore, I say this, you can never trust anybody. As long as you're not in their head, you can't trust. You can only trust yourself.
Yes. So I have a question to that. So maybe you might not know the whole information, how that came about. Maybe the husband has even went on to her and started the whole relationship.
It doesn't matter. I know they say it happened.
No, but why are they blaming the lady that is single?
I'm not blaming anybody. I'm telling you that you do not start that third party relationship closeness. Keep your friends your friends. And keep your marriage your marriage. Why do I have to have a prayer meeting with my husband and my best friend all the time? We can have prayer meeting once in a while, but not a continual thing. Bringing her in, making her feel very comfortable. So therefore, she over-trusted this lady. So what we're saying is that be very, very careful bringing a third party in and open up 100% into your home. You might not think otherwise, he might not, but you don't know her. The devil came to kill, to steal, and destroy. Who is the devil? You wouldn't know. Is it your husband or the friend?
Thank you. And one thing that we should know is that if you have somebody who is very good
and very close to you. In terms of marital issue, the best advice the person should tell you is pray to God. The person should not be eager to listen to your marital issue. Such people are the good ones. Someone will tell you, okay, what happened? What did your husband do? What did you do? Those people are the dangerous people. They want to know what happened in the bedroom. You know, like in total, what happened. Those people are the dangerous people. Like the best person should tell you, oh, you have a marital issue, pray to God. Communicate to God. Tell God, like the person should give you prayer guidelines, when to pray, how to pray. Not to, be all ears to listen to all the details. Those people are very dangerous. At the end of it, they are the same people who will take your marriage to other people. Thank you.
Yeah, I got a question for Mommy's boy. Yeah. So, between your mom and your spouse, who's taking the front seat of your car and why?
I believe that, Brother Sam, I believe that he has answered the question. I think that was the very first question that was asked him. And I'm not trying to prevent you from asking, but he said that when he get married, they will switch seats. So,
Okay, so I just want to add up a little bit to the discussion right now. Mama, I forgot your name, but I think I think whatever you said about bringing in the third party should be the highest standard, at least for us married couples or married people. Because before I got married, I listened to a lot of counseling stuff, and one of them explained that the ring is round and there's no way out, and so that should be like a circle around your marriage. If you think it is advisable to just go out and go for help or pick out somebody outside for help. Even if you read the Bible says that Satan can turn himself into angel of light. Outwardly, you might be looking very shiny, but inwardly, you can't truly, even those that we sleep together with our wives, our husbands, you can't completely know their intentions. That's why all that we are speaking about right now are a blessing to us, both single and married. But then, no matter what, you'll be shocked that how was this marriage broken? Like, how did they divorce, even with all the intimacy and everything? So I really second whatever you have spoken, but most exceptionally, like that standard, that don't. I know our sister is still pushing on the questions, but I tell you the truth, that is not safe, because if an angel of darkness can show up as angel of light. When the devil went to Jesus, he asked him, if you are the Son of God. But he knows that Jesus is the Son of God. Trying to trick his mind, to prove something. But then Jesus still stood on the word of God. So please, this advice should really go into us, both singles and married ones.
thank you. Please, let's give them to ourselves. All right.
I don't know if I can ask a question. Okay, so my question is to you, Ma. I know marriage is between a man and a woman with God in the center. I've been married before. Fortunately, I'm divorced. I remember at that time, okay, let me put my question this way. When the other spouse, because I know we're talking about, don't involve pastor, don't involve this. But what happens when the other spouse has completely strayed away and you've talked and talked, you've prayed and prayed and prayed. He or she's still not listening. They are fine, might have started off good in the beginning, but along the line they strayed away, and then you now have to have no other choice but to involve a third party. So are we against that, or what do we do?
Yes, and though the question is addressed to our mama here, but please, the panelists, any of you can add on to it.
There is always somebody that your partner respects. If you're courting somebody and there's nobody that they're afraid of, there's nobody that they're afraid of. I mean, this one is afraid of his mom very well. There's nobody that they're scared of. There is a red flag when you're courting the person. If he does not have somebody that he respects a lot, that person's word can turn him around, there is a problem. Now, when it gets to a point where the husband strays, you have to involve somebody. What we're talking about now is not a case of, it's not that kind of case. It's like taking every little thing and pastor is deciding everything in your house and everything. You have to try to see if he's going to seek help. Our African brothers are too macho to seek help. They don't believe
they are trying.
If you, find somebody that he respects. That's why if a man, a pastor, a woman does not have anybody they're afraid of, there's a problem. You see the difference? If you can take him, sit him down, talk with him, because they have parents. If it's some men that are the sole provider for their family, nobody can tell them what to do, it's a problem. When you're dating a man and you see him treats people some type of way, please know that someday you're going to get that treatment times 1,000. If he treats or talks to his family members, whether in the restaurant, anybody that he feels is lower than him, the way he treats that person when he's courting you and treating you all nice, just know that he's going to treat you 100 times, 1,000 times worse than that. And get help. Is it that he gets help or you live in peace rather than in pieces?
Thank you, Mama. Thank you. Please, let's give it to our Mama. All right. I think the second question or the topic has really eaten into our time, so we might not have more time for this very last questions. But among all these questions, this is the last one that I love most. This is my topic. And the question is this. When we talk about intimacy, it deals with so many stuff. And I'm glad that you spoke into it with the first question. I remember our sister said spiritual. Our daddy said mind and emotions. Our brothers spoke deeper into it. Our mama also went into it. The question is this. Do you think intimacy is of more emotional, or do you think intimacy is physical, or do you think intimacy is spiritual? Whichever one you choose. The next question is why? Is intimacy more of emotional, physical, or spiritual? And why? Thank you.
Since I have the mic, let me start. So I'll say with intimacy, physical, emotional, and spiritual. I would say we need to balance these three with a physical, emotional, and spiritual. It needs to be balanced. Now, when ranking, I'll rank it from emotional. I'll give emotional the first rank. From there, I'll give spiritual the second rank, and I'll give physical the last rank. And why am I saying this? The reason is, with the physical, it is something that causes something for that thing.
That's it.
Okay, let me repeat it. It is something that causes something for that thing. So you can see that with the physical, it is not every day. It has seasons. It has seasons. It has seasons. So when the season comes, that is when the physical is needed. So the lady, you should know the time and the seasons. When it comes, do the needful. And the man too, you should know the time and the seasons. When it comes, do the needful. Now let's go to the spiritual. The spiritual, without it, there is also a question mark. Because it is also needed. Because even with the physical, when the physical meets, a covenant is created, a bond is created. So there is a spiritual connection between the two people. So with that, the two must grow spiritually. The two must have something common spiritually. In a way, one of the days, not years ago, I met one lady that I was interested in. And I was very interested in this lady. I was like, I don't know the spiritual belief of this lady.
My brother, why?
I went a bit deeper. And I tricked the lady with a question. I'll not say the question here. So the answer the lady gave me, I got to know that spiritually we can never be connected. So from there, the lady, she went off my face.
Blacklisted.
Yes, blacklisted. I wasn't connected to the lady again because I was attracted by the physical. So I thought of the spiritual before I can trust and go down the emotional. So also sometimes, in most times, it's the physical that comes first. It is the physical that comes first.
Of course, yes.
The physical.
Of course.
And that one is backed by lust. If you don't go to the next level, that is the spiritual. If you just end at the physical stage, it will be all covered by lust. And when it's all covered by lust, that doesn't grow the relationship. Last, and one day it ends. But when you move on from the physical to the spiritual, there is another level of your relationship. Now you are looking at how divinely the purpose you have for that relationship. So from there, you know that you have a spiritual connection, then the emotional comes. But in ranking, I rank the emotional
First.
But
Spiritual.
it starts with physical, spiritual, and the emotional. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on, please, let's give it to our brother. All right, Mom.
when you're emotionally connected to somebody, it is, we got talked, so much about that. It is for a woman, I'm going to talk for a woman, we need emotional connection to even go to the physical. For most women, we need emotional connection to even touch the physical. Because if the woman is not emotionally connected to you, she's not, no matter what most women that know who they are, will not even look your way. And I want to bring the physical and the spiritual together. The physical, just like you said, the physical connection, physical intimacy is something that transcends beyond just the physical. Right. Sex is a spiritual transaction.
Oh, yes.
When you have sex with somebody, something leaves you, a part of you leaves you to the other person, and likewise. So, if you want to walk around with bits and pieces of people in you, carry the physical along. It is scary, but it's the truth. Even now, science have proven it. We used to say the spiritual, science has proven it. And the funny thing is that condom does not stop STD, spiritually transmitted diseases.
Can you repeat that?
Condom does not stop STD, spiritually transmitted diseases.
So now it's no longer sexually transmitted.
The devil doesn't know condom. He just wants the contact. That's it. And you have bits and pieces of the last 7 people, of the last 7 people, of the last 7 people, of the last 7 people this person has been with. Think about that for a minute. Let it sink in. One sex with one person, you inherit the demons of the last 7 people the person has slept with, and the last 7 people slept with, till the 7th time. 7 is a perfect number. And so we're moving around with people who are having mental sickness, a lot of things are happening, kids are committing suicide, a whole lot of things are happening. I tell my kids, I don't mind to marry as a virgin, but I tell them, you don't lose anything by being a virgin. If somebody puts that to your face, one day you can be like them, this virgin, but they can never come back to be like you, a virgin. Keep it. That's the priciest thing you have. And so, when you think about the STD, sexually transmitted diseases, I class the physical and the spiritual together because they walk hand in hand. Trust me, those familiar spirits from your father's house have connections here to bring you just the right one person to destabilize your life, to throw everything in your life into chaos. It takes just, I have a friend, she's been my friend for 27 years. In this country, in this state. Just one wrong step. This was a marriage, not just a relationship. Now we're battling mental sickness. Just one thing. Just one wrong step.
Thank you.
Just one wrong decision.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you. Yes.
So, I think we need all 3. Emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, spiritual intimacy. But I'm going to tie the emotional to the spiritual. Just a little backstory, talking about emotions. I remember the days I was, really, really down, and emotionally I was confused. Psychologically, everything. I was down because that was when I realized I got into the wrong marriage. I married the wrong person. So when my eye opened, I was emotionally down. I was weak. I was not stable. But in essence, what I'm trying to say is that from your emotional state, you can also use the spiritual to bring about a desired outcome. What am I talking about? In those days, of course, it was really hard for me to pray. It was hard for me to even do anything at all. So the easiest thing for me to do, even though at least it was kind of hard too, but at that time I had to pick myself up and just go into the place of prayer and also worship. So I started with just worshiping. So I'm trying to tie the emotional intimacy with spiritual intimacy, because in the spiritual side of things, that's where I was able to draw my strength from. In order for me to become emotionally stable again. Physically, I know most times we attach physical intimacy to sex and all of that. For me, the physical intimacy would be like intimacy with my own self and the desired outcomes that I want to see in my life. And when I say, with my own self, I mean like self-care, prioritizing myself, my self-care, my things that interest me, things that make me joyful. So we need all three. I don't think anyone is much more important than the other. All three are very, very important for each of us, because that's what makes us, that's what shapes us as an individual that we are.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Like rightfully said, we all need the three. The intimacy, the spiritual intimacy, the emotional intimacy, and the physical intimacy. And we need all three. The way that I equate that is like a plant. It's just like asking which one is much important. Would it be the rain, the sunlight, or the soil? They're all important. So, and they're all interconnected. So on the physical aspects, if you're in a relationship, you're talking about, because it's not only sex, but the touching, the holding hands, that's the spirit, the physical aspect. Then, if I will equate that to the plant, it will be the fruit. And fruit will not bear itself, if it's not rooted on the soil, which in this case will be the spiritual. And the stem will be the emotion, intimacy, which is talking, your feelings, being vulnerable to your significant other. And the soil, which is of course is the spiritual, if it's healthy, just like the soil will help the roots, to sustain the plant. It's the same way that if you rooted your relationship spiritually in God-based relationship, it will also help, to formulate a very strong bond in your relationship. So, in as much as the three is needed, majority of the time, every marriage needs something different from the other. Some marriages, need more spiritual attention, and some need more of physical attention, emotional. So it all depends on what is lacking in one's relationship, because what's going on in your family might be different, from what's going on in my family. But at the end of the day, we collectively need all these aspects of intimacy to have a very good bonding relationship. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please, let's give it to our panelists. We are really blessed to have you guys today. They are fully loaded. Don't you agree with me? Please, let's give it to them one more time. Yes, and this is our very last topic. So I need you to come out of your shell. Please ask any questions that you want to ask. And I think our brother Sami want to start with it.
And I want to ask this question on behalf of all young men. And I feel like y'all, with your experiences, I really want to know your answer to it. But in making any decision in life, we pray to God, we want to hear a voice. So there's the spiritual aspect of it, and then the physical part. So my question is, and I'm not going to use the word settle down because figuratively it's not a good word. So how do you know when it's time to actually lock in with a significant other?
That's a great question. Please, that's
All right.
I would say you will know when you meet the right person, not only that you will have that spiritual connection, not only that you will have that chemistry, but then when you want to take it to another level and you start asking the right questions, nobody needs to tell you that, that is the right person for you, because everything will work out, the way that it's supposed to be. So, my advice to singles, here is that don't rush things. Take your time, ask questions, because marriage, there's no school for that. You learn, you learn. You live, you learn, rather. And some of the mistakes, that most of us make, that could have been avoided by just simply talking. Don't let the physical aspects of the intimacy override your sense of judgment. Ask clear questions, and there's no question that is stupid question. Open up, because this is a lifetime investment, if you may. So you shouldn't take it lightly. Ask every question, that's possible. And when you feel right about it, you will know. And since all of us here are Christians, I always believe that in all, put God first, and He definitely will show you the right person. There's nothing God cannot do, but do not just feel like, oh, it's time and I have to, just get married, because it's real. And one mistake, can throw you back 20 years. And not only that, you will have that if you're unfortunate and there are children involved, now it's not only you now that is in the mess, you bring innocent children along with it. So it's good you take your time. There's nothing special, even though it's special, about just quickly or hurry up, to get married, only to get divorced, the next day. Nothing from me about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the panelists, if anybody wants to add on.
So I feel like when you meet a someone potential that you want to get married to, don't neglect the place of friendship. I think you need to build friendship. And friendship, I would say, is the core of every relationship that will thrive eventually. So you need to build that friendship from scratch. And also realize that when you start building the friendship and then evolve into dating, the dating season is not for, butterflies in my belly and things like that. It's really getting to know each other much, much more and still building on that friendship that you started with. So the dating season is for you to get to know each other very well. And also praying, Lord, is this your will for me? Is this person your will for me? I think God shows us signs one way or the other. If we pay attention, God shows us signs as Christians, as believers, one way or the other. We just need to pay attention. It might not come in an audible voice and say, yeah, this is your wife, this is your husband. No. God might be speaking to you through even the red flags that you're seeing. Those might be signs as well. So don't neglect all of that. In my own case, God showed me something 3 times. I didn't pay attention to it. And He showed me to me in a dream. But I didn't pay attention because I just wanted to get married. So I was like, it's not like anyone was putting me under pressure. I put myself under pressure because my friends were getting married. That was a great mistake that I made. And when everything came to the open, things were revealed, I started blaming God. I said, God, why? Why me? Why me? I'm not a saint, but I can say I'm a very good one. So I was like, God, if this should have happened to anyone, not me. But the Holy Spirit reminded me when He showed me something some years ago, that He showed me in a dream 3 times about this person, and I didn't listen. And that was when I had to start asking God for mercy. I said, Lord, just have mercy upon me. I know I had missed it. So I try to tell people as much as possible, pay attention to what God is saying to you. Don't neglect the core, the core of the basis for marriage. At least, person must be morally upright, spiritually upright and things like that. Don't neglect that at all. And don't ignore the signs and warnings.
I have a question. I think we've been talking a lot, and honestly speaking, I've also learned a lot from the conversations. As the last speaker just finished speaking, so now you've realized or you've seen the red flags, and you think that you can't continue with this relationship. Can you outline the ways by which you can you can let go of the relationship? Are you going to start calling them? How are you going to do it? Because sometimes you got into a point of marriage and then you realize no. So how, as a Christian person, as a child of God, you don't want to create a mess. So how do you get out?
How do you get
Okay. I'll say, in all things, wisdom is profitable to direct. you need wisdom in this thing, honestly. It depends on the situation, actually. Normally, I would say you just run away. But that's why I said wisdom is profitable to direct. But personally, what I'll say is, as a lady, I'll tell the guy, I think we should pray more about this relationship. Let's really know the mind of God. But in your own mind, though, you know that it's not going to work out. So I kind of use that prayer as a strategy because I'll say, give me one month, let's be praying. 1 month comes. Wisdom tells me, okay, increase it to 3 months. Let's just continue praying. Let's continue praying. Of course, by that time, the guy is already agitated. That's what you want, right? You want to walk away, but you want to do it well, at least. When 3 months comes, okay, increase it to 6 months. Trust me, before the end of that 6 months, the guy is already like, okay, I don't think this is going to work. For how long are we going to continue? Right? So that's why I said wisdom is profitable to direct. So, God can give us different ways. You just need to know. You just need to know which one because it's a dicey situation. But nevertheless, I will also add this. There are some people you just need to run away from. You need to run for your life. Especially when it becomes really, really toxic, very, very toxic relationship or situation, and you already know that myself and this person, we're not going anywhere. We're not. So it's evident. Just run away. It can't work. Just run for your life. So thank you.
There's no shame in running. All right, please. Do you know if you want to add on? All right.
Okay, so I wanted to add on something earlier, but I think we've moved past that. But I still want to emphasize on what our sister said. Coming to me was, and I remember teaching this at a place at one point, when Christian men or the youth, when we started to get into relationships, most of the time we don't consult God first. But He's the author and the creator of that relationship. Yeah. So most of the time we tend to go with our physical self and we present what we want to God. And when we do that, I know my God, and He said He will give me everything that my heart desires. So regardless of what flags, green, yellow, purple, whatever colors you find, because you've already identified that this is what I want, God would make it work for you. I believe in that as well. But let me put it back into the spirit of discernment. And this is where we fail on in most of the time. So there are giftings that God gives to us to regulate life. And if we tune ourselves to it, I believe we will all fall in place and everything else will fall in place. So my advice to the gentleman that was asking initially, how do we identify or when do we say we are ready? First of all, let's get back into the biblical sense. Get yourself realigned with God. Ask Him His directions, because it's not your will, it is His will first. And the mistake that we make is we take our will first and we take it to God. When we do that, God has nothing else to say than to honor what you have asked. But if you go to Him with no obligation, nothing else to it, and say, you direct me into this, that is when He's going to start presenting you with potential people, right? And then when that presentation is coming up, you will find yourself, and I don't know, sometimes we use ourselves as examples. So, yes, I was never virgin, I've never done any of this. I've pretty much went through every one of them. By the time I got to that point, and I'm being honest with all the men, or the young ones here. But what I realized was, every time I approached it, it just never worked. Because I was the one presenting, I like the physical look of this person. I like what this person was talking about and how she cooks. And I'm presenting everything else without looking at what is God looking out of this relationship for me.
So one of the things that I met one of my pastors, and he came during the time that my wife came along, and somewhere along the line he said, pray more and God will show you your partner. I was like, well, I don't know about that. I get that guy sitting up there somewhere, he's chilling, there's too many people going on. I got to pick and take it to him. But I failed again during that same time, and my wife will attest to it. During that time, I was dating somebody. I thought I was getting married. She thought we were getting married. But it just never worked out because it was my presentation. Until the pastor told me that, look into what God wants out of you rather than what you want from him. And that realigned me and said, let me start looking for what God is looking for. I'm not going to tell you that by me marrying my wife, everything was perfect back then. But I can tell you that we have withstand every challenge that I don't even know what we can come out of it anymore. But I can tell you whatever it is, we can overcome it because it was rooted from a God's perspective rather than a man physical perspective. So let's go back to the spirit of discernment. Understand what God is asking from you, what, red flag, God will show it to you. We had the dreams, my sister was saying, we had a dream, I had a dream, and I was like, oh my God, he's showing me this, really? And I was fighting it. I fought my wife for the longest, because I have never dated a Ghanaian since I came to the United States, and I promised myself I would never do that. Anyway, but that was the one that I dated at one time, and I only had her for like 6 months, and I knew this was it. Because when God put it in your pathway, that is it for you, rather than when you put it in your pathway, God is just making it happen for you. Now,
thank you.
And my question is, as you were talking, you said, God will show you, God will show you. So, my question is, how will God show you? Will you? It's a double question. Is it you seeing the person in the dream or something? And in case God shows the person to somebody, without showing it to me, without showing it to myself, how should I take it?
So I believe that is the key word that came out, the discernment spirit. So when you start discerning, that is how God communicates with us. That is the little voices that we hear. That is sometimes the pastor will come and talk, tell it to you. Sometimes it comes up in a dream. So there's no one way of communicating that with you. But there are several ways that God communicates with us. I can tell you where mine happens most of the time, and it happens in my bathroom when I'm taking a shower. That's how God talks to me. And I can tell you the reason why, and analyze it, because my purity of myself at that point. So all my revelations comes when I'm taking a shower. I don't know. Anyway, but you will find yours when you start praying, when you start getting into your meditation place. So find your meditation place. Go there. Sit there and wait. See, sometimes we miss the biblical points when God says, just sit there and wait, and the Holy Spirit will come to you, or something will come to you. But we don't stay there and wait. We start getting a little agitated, and I want this now, I want it in my time, and I want this woman, and then we start running away. So then we miss the discernment, because it's telling it to you. You discerned it, like my sister was saying. She was discerning it the entire time. 4 times if she counted right. But she still refused it because that wasn't what she wanted to hear. She had already had a predefined destination to her journey, and she approached it that way. God made it happen for the longest as we can actually make it happen. But at the end of it, it's not going to be, for me, I would say it's a question of contribute anyway, because you made your bed, you sleep in it. That's what we do.
Okay, Mama, go ahead.
I'm just going to quickly say that when there's a saying we used to say in the scripture union, God gives the best to those who leave the choice for Him. When you leave the choice for God, He will give you the best. And you have to, when you get to that point that you say, God, your way or nothing, it's not going to come in the package you envision, but it's going to be the best thing for you. That happened to me. And when God said, I quoted every scripture that could favor me. And He started breaking it down one by one. I said, He's not born again. He got born again. Without me, without anybody. I said, I presented so many things, and it got broken down one by one.
And talking about dreams, I had a dream about the other person that I was yearning for. And I woke up and said, yeah, God is confirming today. And it's not funny, it was really serious because I got to the point that I said, God, it's your will or nothing. It's your will or nothing. And I said, yeah, God has confirmed it today. And I finished doing everything I was doing. I was living with my brother. And I went to have my quiet time. And I bust open my Bible. And the first thing in Ezekiel is, your thoughts have many dreams, which are, and I was frozen. And I knelt down and I said, God, now I said, your will. And when God saw that I was broken, He did everything. He will break down everything. Don't take, please, like you said, if you don't want to be in God's permissive will, that means when you take something to God and say, God, this is what I want, He will agree. That is His permissive will. You want to be in His will for you.
And I just want to say something regarding. Too often, many of us Christians wait until when it's time for marriage before we start seeking the face of God, before we start, trying to hear the voice of God. And it shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so, actually. So we need to make sure that we are already in tune with God now. This thing about getting married or having one or two people, God, which one? Too often I've heard people say, that's the hard thing, God will not speak, God will not speak. It's because you've not been building yourself up spiritually. So in the beginning when I said intimacy feels like, to me, what comes to my mind is spiritual because I've been there before. By the time he was speaking to me, I felt it was too late. I already had butterflies in my belly. This guy was TDH, tall, dark, and handsome, that kind of thing. So we need to try as much as we can to be in tune with God. It's really important. Really, really important. I'm doing all I can now to make sure that I don't miss it a second time.
Thank you.
This is actually a contribution. I haven't been married as long as some of our speakers and the adults here, but in response to Samuel's question, for me, when the time that I decided to get married, I started praying years ago because I went to a youth retreat, I think in 2016, and I remember one of the pastors was saying, now's the time for you to be praying for your husband and your marriage and yourself and everything and how like the future and the family that you want. So I remember it just like did something to me. And from then on, I started praying more about my marriage, more about my children, my future, and things like that. And I remember it even got to a point where I would even pray that God, if I meet a guy, because there were so many guys that would come up, so many potential husbands at that time, they would come up, but I would tell God, if that man is not for me, let me say or do something that will make him leave. Like it's serious, right? And I was okay with that, but I remember I kept praying that I eventually had my first boyfriend, but that was not my husband. Because another prayer that I would also pray to was that the man for me, no matter what, he would stay. Like no matter the obstacles, my parents are very tough, especially my dad and my mom too, but my dad for sure. No matter what will happen, may he stand through it all. And I can say that my husband now, like he was able to stand. There was so many things going on around the time that I even met my husband, even the time when we decided to move, to move our relationship to the next level and get married, there was so many things going on. But my husband still stayed. He still, he didn't care what my family was saying, what the noise and everything. He still stayed. So, and then also another thing, I was able to be vulnerable with him to the point where I wasn't able to be with any other. Like I can have a guard up. I can also be very cool, very free and things like that. But when it comes to relationships and men at the time, I would have a guard. And that's when I knew that person wasn't for me. And also, some of the things that they would do, this is not it. And so you will know, Samuel, you will know, and just make sure that you are in tune with God's word and God's will for your life, and pray earnestly, wholeheartedly, just lay it all at God's feet. And He's faithful, you know, to see you through this season. And you have to be able to know your wife when you see her. And the men, the ladies too, like you should know your husband when you see him.
So my question, I know a lot of times people ask this question, but I just want to hear your point of view on that. What do you, like, is age, like, does it matter in a relationship in terms of where, like, the woman is a bit older than the man, you know? So that's my question.
Okay, since I'm with the mic, I'll just drop my 1%. I think age is just a number. That's what I think, personally. I have a rule for myself that I don't want to go over a certain age. For me, at least, the man should not be more than 7, 8 years older than myself. Before now, I used to think like, no, my husband has to be older than myself, you know, based on what we see out there in society, you know, normally the guys are older than, you know, their wives, normally as it is. But I've come to realize that age is just a number. It's really about maturity. Is the person mature enough? Is the person ready mentally, you know, emotionally? Because then again, I mean, you don't want to marry garbage. You don't want to marry trash. So as a rule of thumb for myself, I told myself now that I can even go 5 years below. So I can be 5 years older than the guy. That's me personally. So it depends on what you want. So, because truthfully, I've met different guys. I have. Even the last one that I met, I think I'm like 4 years older than him, and it was ticking all the boxes until God said no. So age is just a number. I think maturity is what really counts. Set your boundaries. That's just my thing.
Yeah. Yes. Any more questions? Any more contributions? Oh, you have okay, yes. See her.
I wanted to contribute on the prayer that asking question. You have to know your negotiables and non-negotiables. You know, that will determine to actually know first who is the person. Because if you know your non-negotiables, those are your top list to start with. And then just to contribute on the age, like she said, maturity is important, right? There are people that you will meet that they are 10 years older, but they act like 2 years old. You know, they're so childish. So it all depends on maturity and how much also you can take in, you know, how much you take in. So that's all.
That was a great contribution. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Another question is, I know we were saying pray and, you know, what if God reveals to me, but not to the other partner? What do I do in that situation?
I believe that if God reveals it to you, then it is about you. God wants to speak to you. You are dating this other person and you are praying to God, God help me. Maybe the other person is not praying. Maybe the other person is not asking God. No. The other person sees you and be like, okay, I want that one. But you are praying to God that God, please show me the way. Who is for me? And so God will go and speak to the other person. God will speak to you because you prayed. Thank you. Please, if you want to add on to it.
With the subject, God speaking to someone individually, I think it is very important because with marriage, you know, anyone who gets ready for marriage, if not, is having about 2 or 3 choices. And the person might be confused, asking God, which one should I choose? So, you being confused, anyone that God reveals to you, you become well convinced that this is a divine revelation received from God. Now, the reason why it is very important because the person that God has revealed to you, that person might not be even 100% perfect as you want. But when God reveals that person to you, you are convinced that there is a call upon you to sustain something. There is a call upon you to work for something or to work something out. So, in the marriage, even when things are going wayward, you know what you saw in the dream. And you know the burden that God has laid upon you. So you know that this is a task. This is something that I have to work on. So you go back to God and you pray to God. And God is faithful
to change things around for your good. Thank you.
I think she wanted to know if you can approach the person. Is that what you were asking? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me tell you something. Men, I'm sorry, my men can be like 2-year-olds when they throw a tantrum and they tell you, you're the one that came to ask for this marriage. I did. Trust me. Let it go the traditional way. No matter how getting we are. You know, that thing that they say, how do you say, shoot your shot? I don't believe. If you believe in shooting your shot, then trust me.
Let me add this. But for me, I prefer a lady loving me more than I love her. I prefer a lady loving me more than I love her. And I have a reason. Men like
I think the singles are disagreeing with you.
Like I prefer that to be like if a lady loves a man, she does everything. I will not say to sustain the marriage, but to please the man in a way. And what the lady does in a way contributes to how much more the man can love the lady.
Number one, contradicting the Bible. God knows that we are loving beings. He didn't command us to love. When you treat and love a woman, you will bring out the best in her. Only a stupid woman will not love you and treat you like a king. So if you want a woman to love you more, you're not doing what God says. Love them and bring out the best in her.
Thank you. There are circumstances where the lady never loved the man, but the lady will pretend. That time is very dangerous. You will never, if a man loves a lady, you can see from the man's reaction. But if a lady does not love a man, the lady can pretend.
I love how it is ending. You know, we are about to end it, but Daddy, do you have a question? Do you have a question, sir? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Good.
Sorry, I lost my train of
Okay. Yes, so sir, just need a qualifier. Just say some, not all. Yes. So I have 2 questions here, Brother Sammy and our sister here. And then after that, I'll take 2 more questions and I'll be able to.
And I want to ask a question, and the question is, as young African children, growing up with your parents at a young age, you're not allowed to have a boyfriend, you're not allowed to date, but then it gets to some age and then there's this pressure of why you're not getting married. And it comes from the society, the church, you're grown, you're fine looking, whereas your wife, your husband, like, what advice would you give us to navigate that or to go through that?
I think I would say that, looking just about everybody here, I can tell we almost like probably 100% Africans in diaspora. And the majority of the time, we find ourselves in the United States, as we are here now, we feel like unfit in terms of perception to relationship. Like Sister here said, the young lady over there, you should not take your shot. I would say go for it. If there's a particular if there's a particular person that you feel like you have chemistry with, or somebody that you feel like you have some kind of affection, reach out, to the person. I mean, the most you can get out of it, the worst case scenario is no. What if a man is also feeling the same way but doesn't know how to approach you? So that might be, something you need to consider. Then for the young man's side, yes, growing up, I was the same way. I have 5 sisters. So, and the parents were very strict. But then when you get to certain age, everybody has an impression why you get married, with your grandchildren and whatnot. But even at that, still take your time. Rush it, because it will not do you any good that you get married and feel that you are not in bondage. Because of our culture, again, there's this taboo about divorce. But then my question always is it better that you are married and be miserable than if you divorce again, our society, even though we're in the Western world, but we still have that African mentality that you're going to stick with.
That's very much true. That's very much true.
It's a toxic relationship. You're not happy. He's not happy. Everybody knows that. The worst of all is that in the process, innocent children, will be dragged to this. So it is something that I believe that this generation will keep pushing to break those codes. Because that's what I see right now. If you're not happy with your relationship, the best thing is just go your separate ways. Because there's no point to go back. If God has something out there better for you. So it's a high time that we start, to assimilate, to the Western, lifestyle. I'm not saying that everything here is good, but some of the upbringing back home, don't do this, don't do that. But when you get to certain age, especially the female, you get to the age of 26, 27, 30, everybody asking you now, what are you waiting for? Well, go get married. If your son will tell you, go ahead and have a baby, you don't need to, find more men. But it's the same exact people, that we are holding you back. When you were much younger and wanted to make your move, same people that are going to blame you when you get to certain age now, they're saying, oh, it's your bad character. They will blame, turn around again and blame you that because of your bad behavior that have made no man, to find you, interesting. So I would say, go, follow your heart. Every man, every woman has a special person that, meant for you. Just take your time and don't rush.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have a question. I just wanted to add into what she was asking. God is not a God of confusion. So if He was able to show you, you should also pray that God will reveal it to Him, right? Because it shouldn't just be on your side. The same way, if somebody come and tell you that God told me you're my wife, you should always go back to God and ask. Because at the end of the day, when you get in, you cannot blame God that, hey, you told me. But the question is, did He tell you to? So, because especially in the society we live in, somebody will say, I dream you're my wife. And they not even dream for real. So, but my question is, in this society that we are living in, they say you shouldn't go to the men's house, you shouldn't do this and that. To the men's home. Like you can visit a guy, you can do this. Just in case something doesn't happen, God forbid. So in that sense of that, protecting yourself and your purity and, you don't want to be behind the doors doing all that. Many of us, or many men, they are here by themselves, right? They don't have families, so they live by themselves. And they want a wife that can cook, they can clean, they can do this, all this bunch of stuff. How are they supposed to know we know how to do all these things? Because I'm not bringing a man to my house first before I know you. But how do you know me before I even decide for you to come and see my parents? And you are judging me like you think I can cook, I can do this because I'm not gonna come to your house. So how do we go about that? Should we just go ahead and be cooking? Like my question is, how do we navigate, especially as a single women? How do we go about that? Because our brothers will be like, you can cook, your nails, you this, you looking too bougie for me, I don't think you can cook. So how do we go about that? And because our parents say we can go to a man's house, and what do I understand? Because you just never know. But, so how do we go about it?
Before I pass the mic, let me just say one thing. You can still cook for him, actually. You don't have to go to his house to cook. Yeah. You can still cook for him. You just don't have to go to his house to cook for him. You don't have to be there. You guys can somewhere in a class.
I think the follow-up question is, how will he even believe the fact that you were the one who cooked that food? Since you cooked in his absence. All right, let's listen to our panelists.
No, I would say it still goes back again to the same thing that we were talking about earlier, our upbringing, all those boundaries, all those rules. Oftentimes, parents want to live their life again. They've already lived their life. We're all Christians, just ask God for this. But then you cannot restrict yourself, if it's someone that you have gotten to the point where you feel comfortable. So you didn't just meet him on the street the next day, you want to go to his house and cook for him. Apparently, someone that you have been talking to, if you have talked to somebody and you dated them, the longer you feel comfortable now to be in the same space with them. I don't see any problem, going to cook if you just only cook. It's not going to kidnap you or rape you in this, society. I don't think so. But at the same time, too, do not let, your parents, set all kind of boundaries, Yes, make your own decisions, I'm an advocate of that. Do not let your parents, live their life and live, dictate your own life too. Chart your own course. But as so doing, be very careful. So.
With cooking, it is an investment that you are doing. You are investing your time. Personally, I'm a good chef, so I cook my food, but I will not let a lady I've not married cook for me at the first place. Yes, personally, I will not let a lady I've not married to cook for me at the first place. So I will not even tell her to come.
I have 2 grown daughters. I know you have beautiful, I saw your beautiful kids. When I watch and see when those kids the girls are grown, you will see him come out of his clothes. He's not saying that because my husband, I understand what they're talking about. My husband is somebody I have to say, please back up a little bit, give them coffee. You raise them, you trust that they're well raised and they will not do what you didn't want them to do. But my brother is just talking, when it comes to that time, you don't go here. When it comes to that time, his claws will be out because guess what? He remember everything he did as a young man and he wants to protect his daughter. It's a normal thing, but I would say just be cautious. I mean, cooking for a man, for God's sake, no. Just like you said, that is a lot of investment. What if you cook and he doesn't marry you? And you want to cook for the next one, and you cook and they don't marry you? Build friendship, build relationship. Of course, you're talking marriage. So if you tell him you know how to cook, he should. And if you didn't even know how to cook, run and learn how to cook while you're telling him you know how to cook. Learn. Don't put yourself in a place that you're going to cook and clean for a man and probably brings another girl to eat that food. That's my mentality.
With me, I said no. Because sometimes when making a decision, we have men that don't know how to cook. And because they don't know how to cook, when they see that a lady can cook for them, they just say, oh, I found a wife, without looking at the other aspect of the lady. So I will stop you, don't cook for me, so I can clearly see who you are. Make my leg bring you to my house.
Okay, I have 2 things that I wanted to share. I know this would be of benefit to some of us, if not everybody in this room. I'd say maybe about 20 years ago, we were in a class, and I think we were having a conversation about relationships, and at the time we were younger. And we were trying to get the speaker to tell us the age you were supposed to get into a relationship. And I remember he did not, but he did say that you enter into a relationship. One of the most important things is to be emotionally matured. And over the years, I have come to a point to realize Naomi. I briefly read over it, but for some reason, that text just kept coming to me and pointing everything to building intimacy. Naomi had 2 daughter-in-laws, right? Orpah and Ruth. When it got to the point where her sons had died and they were departing, Orpah was like, oh, okay, I'm going back to my parents' house. But Ruth said, I would live where you're going to live. Where you're going to be buried, that is where I want to be buried. Your people will be my people. So when you're building intimacy, I want you to think about that. Whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your parents, wherever you find yourself. Because one thing that I've learned in this room is that the singles, some people are really building their spiritual intimacy. Spouses may be physical, may be emotional, depending on wherever you're at. There's got to be a balance, but one takes priority, at every stage, in every season. So you want to live where that person wants to live. That person's people will be your people. And you want to be buried where that person want to be buried. That's what I just want to share.
I know that most of you have more questions to ask. Unfortunately, time is not our friend at this moment. So please, any questions that you have, please send it to the platform or send it to our CEO, Mrs. Okanta. And tomorrow we are here again, and all those questions will be read. All people can have chance again to ask questions, and answers will be given as well. Our panelists, I want to appreciate you so much, and I want to say thank you. You guys have been a great blessing to all of us this evening. You've been a great blessing to us. We want to say thank you. And before I leave you, I want to give each of you 30 seconds to give us your closing remarks. Thank you. 30 seconds each to give us your closing remarks. Or perhaps I can see that. Just give us, I'll give you a minute.
Okay, so my advice is, or what I have to say is, when we talk of marriage, I see marriage as the success of marriage is not determined until death do one part. Therefore, when we are going into marriage, we shouldn't let other people's marriage be a criteria where we measure our marriage well or we measure our relationship well. You know that partner is different from the other person's partner. They might be doing something to enhance their marriage that you don't know. Just study your partner, know your partner very well, and see how best you can also uplift or maintain your marriage. So that is what I would say.
All I would say about marriage is that marriage, sometimes you overstretch it and make it very hard. It can be as simple as you want it to be. Just set your goal, go for it. If you're not married, watch and pray. My emphasis is on watch. While praying, really watch. And to keep a happy marriage, just be yourself. And if you're not happy in a marriage, please don't kill yourself there. It's better for you to live in one piece and to stay in pieces.
My advice is for the singles, those who are still trusting God to be married. While waiting, please get busy. Don't stop living. Get busy with purpose. Live your life. Don't stop your life. Don't stop enjoying your life because you're waiting to be married. Thank you.
Yeah, my advice would be, yes, be yourself and see it like any other thing that you have, done in life, like going to school, like living, Africa, compared to the United States. There's no school again where, to teach you about marriage. So don't be afraid, to meet somebody. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to ask questions, if you find somebody interesting. Because you cannot live in the shadow of yourself and at the same time expect, someone to find you. You gotta make yourself, available out there. I'm speaking to the singles, but just be very careful, with it. Not, let the prejudice, of parents back home hold you back. Because at the end of the day, it's you. If you don't take the opportunity and you get to certain age, especially the female, then you will become the same parents, that will be blaming you and the society. So I would say, take your time, find whoever that it is, that God made for you, and put God first. Eventually, you can find something.
Thank you. Yes, panelists, we are so grateful that you came here today, and we appreciate you. We have learned a lot, and we hope to see you another time. Please, let's bring to the market. Let's continue to the wow. Yes, let's continue. We are still here.
Please, we can take our seats. Thank each and every one of you so much. I love how the conversation went, how the room was open. At some point, we were not in agreement. We were not go. We can all be on the same page. I'm all about that. Inclusivity. If you talk to our coordinators when we're having meetings, we can always be on the same page. So somebody must have a different opinion. At this point, we're at our fundraising part. We have a little video that we would like to show. So Divine Empowerment Outreach, we're not only help reduce divorce rates, we're helping out in the community as well, especially most of us, we're from Ghana, majority of us. And we have, I would say, sisters and brothers, moms and dads, and other aunties from Nigeria as well. We love them, but we have started out in Ghana, so this is one of the projects that we're looking forward to, doing. So I would want you to watch this video.
Empowerment Outreach. Our mission is to restore lives while extending God's love to our communities. By God's grace, last year we built a bowl in lovely Takora in the savannah to Nimini. This year we aim to provide desks for the children of the Miabadi and the Western region, giving them a proper place to learn and to support us and help turn this dream into a give through sale at Divine Empower 2020 at gmail.com or through Cash App at the Empower. Lord, we bring hope and Divine Empowerment out.
All right, so I don't know if you saw everything that was in the video. I'm sure you did. This project that we're trying to embark on, these kids, they don't have a place to sit, and they're like in an uncompleted building. So you can see in the picture over here that they're sitting on the floor. One of the prayers, when I was in Ghana, one of the prayers that I prayed to God that me, my baby, when I give birth, they must crawl on tiles, not in the mud. That was my personal prayer, and I should have a cot, a brand new car by the time I had my first child. And so to see the kids in this situation, it is sad. And we would want to really help them by building like another structure and putting some finishes in there for them. Because think about it, when it rains, it goes in there. I don't think even they go to school when it rains. And these are people that are future leaders. These are people that, have great futures. So whatever you are able to give to support, the goal is $5,000. Last year, you guys did amazing. We were able to pull up that borehole project. That was, oh goodness, it was a hustle to be able to bring up that borehole project, but the impact that it has made. So with this particular project that we're looking into, the goal is $5,000, and we already have $1,700. So if you do the math, please, the math people should help me out. 3,300, okay. So we're looking into 3,300. We're not going to name any price. Whatever you feel like giving out, the giving details, you can do Cash App, DEMPOWERS, you can do Zelle, divine.empower@gmail.com. The phone number is also projected. So you could go ahead. I want you to see, pulling up your phones. And if you want to give cash too, you're welcome to. If you need an envelope, we can give you an envelope. I see some people taking screenshots so that they can, they can give whatever you're able to give. You're welcome, we'll take it. People are taking, I'm giving them a minute. So, because they're taking pictures, it's like they're getting in their wallet, their purse, and so I just want to give them a minute to do that. And God bless you so much for doing that. As you're doing that, I'm just going to go ahead to give the announcement because time is far spent. So tomorrow we're going to be in the same auditorium, right? So we're coming back here, but tomorrow is a paid dinner. So please, we have been posting on the page that if you don't, register and bring your money and all of that, then we're not able to, have you in the room respectfully. We love you, not that, but it is something that we had put across from day one. So tomorrow is a paid dinner. So please, the people that, make the due diligence, you come in and we're gonna have a great time. We thank each and every one of you. So we do have our bi-weekly meetings. I just wanted to stress on that. I think we had to cancel the one that we had for yesterday. But Divine Empowerment Outreach, we have bi-weekly meetings. This particular year, we're talking about parenting. And we are learning a a lot, especially from the season. I'm not going to use old people, from the seasoned couples, the seasoned parents amongst us, and even the new ones, because somebody might see something, hear something, read about something that you don't know. So that's the little that I have. I don't know if any of my coordinators do have any other thing that we'll have to add on. All right, so we don't have anything. I need 2 people who can tell me something they took away. I need Anna, a gentleman. One thing they learned from today that has turned their whole life around. Just one thing. We talked about a lot of it before we close out. All right, my husband is going to rescue me out. That's what you do.
So the number one thing I learned today is never allow third party.
I'm going to hold your word to it. All right, please, I need a link.
So something I learned, and it's something I'm working on. It's a reoccurring thing that kept coming up, and it was to ask questions. Do not forget to ask questions. Ask the hard and important questions first when you are dating or starting a relationship, so that you're not surprised in the end.
So, to close out, we started out with prayer, so we're going to pray out. Can we all close our eyes?
Our Father in heaven, we thank you this evening. We thank you for gathering us here and impacting into us your words of wisdom. We thank you for the lives of the panelists that sat before us and the wisdom that, Father, you gave to us through them. We thank you for the coordinators of this program, and we thank you for their lives and the wonderful things that you are doing through them. Father, as we have come to learn, we pray, oh Lord, that we will be doers and will be able to put it into practice. As we live here, we are not leaving your presence. We commit our bodies, our souls, and our spirit into your hands. We ask the Father, you will take us to our homes safely. And tomorrow, if you're able to come together once again, we will be sure to give you your glory. As we leave, oh Lord, we pray that, Father, you will lead us and impact into us any blessings that you have for us. We thank you for this and many others. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Alfred.
Thank you, guys. I believe at this point we have said our last prayers, but I still want to say a big thank you as we walk out.
All I see is you. When I look around, all I see is your love.
Thank you all, and you have a great night.